Yes, it is.
Great. Oh, thank you. So it is 5:33 PM on Monday, August 8th. And I'm calling the meeting for the Holyoke Historical Commission to order for the great city of Holyoke. We are going to start with the approval of the minutes. And as everybody had a chance to revise, to review.
Yes.
Yes.
Any suggestion changes for the minutes of May 9th?
I just have a few edits. There's two places where my name is misspelled. My first name in number 3 and in number 9. And then two other misspellings in number 7. Counselors is misspelled as counselor, and miscommunication is misspelled. And then there's something in section 3. Let me just see if I can find it from the minutes. Oops. Oh, great. Now I can't find it. Okay. Hold on. Oh, so it says that the 195 Appleton has submitted the new plan requested by the Commission of Buildings to keep along with the smokestack and furnace room, and all other buildings would be demolished. And then in the next sentence, it says they reiterated the 2 proposals, the second one including buildings. So there isn't really that those 2 sentences kind of contradict each other. So it says all other buildings would be demolished, which isn't actually the case. If I'm following that correctly. If anybody else seeing that and seeing the same thing. So number 3, continuation of the public hearing for 195 Appleton from
Yes.
it's on the first page, number 3. At the bottom.
Okay, so where you say the commission all agreed on the second revision and the satisfaction?
No, the sentence is above those,
Oh, okay,
where it says to keep along with the smokestack and furnace room, and all the other buildings would be demolished.
yeah,
So
that's
that-
not correct.
That's not correct. So I just wanted to
I
know
can
that.
reword that.
Yeah, perfect.
And other than the misspellings, May 9th, that was all I had.
One thing I'd like to change when it said Paula Ferrario spoke of the evaluation form. That she has updated. I believe what I said was Paula Ferrario spoke of the historical evaluation with documentation that was submitted. And then where you said, and the deterioration of the building slated to be demolished, and maybe point out, affirm the great deterioration of buildings that were to be demolished. One thing I want to ask, where we'll have to find out, when we have people from the public speaking,
Mhm.
do we have to put their address? I can find out.
I just always said in attendance.
Yeah,
So
I'll just find out.
I have, oh, I should send that the last meeting because I do have their addresses, the people
Yeah.
that spoke, so that should
And
be
I'll ask-
included.
I'll ask to Jeffrey
Okay.
Anderson Berger
Okay.
what they do for city council,
Okay.
just to know.
Okay, all right.
Also, I'd just like to make a general comment, and I don't know if this is something we can take on moving forward, but just having read some minutes from the CPA just in advance of me going to that committee, I noticed that when they refer to commissioners, they just say commissioner and then the person's last name. And I just wonder if that's something we might adopt instead of continuing to use our first names, because you never know, somebody's just going to pick it up and be like, who is that person?
Okay.
And if we have the name commissioner in front of our last name, then people automatically know that we're on the commission.
I can do that.
Just a thought, just a thought.
So then there was a sentence, Elena Audrey questioned the commission and Attorney Deegan, why have no new commissioner been appointment for the past 2 years? Yeah, it was 2 years, right? Yeah, never mind. Okay.
Wait, where are you looking at?
At the, am I still on the right minutes? Sorry, Elena, 0.7, the end of 0.7. So if you go to 0.7 and scroll to the next page, the second line.
Okay. Yeah, that's the miscommunication. That's the misspell that I noted.
Right.
Good.
Okay.
For the record, so present in the room is Commissioner Gauthier, Commissioner Salazar, Commissioner Ferradio. Commissioner Aubrey is remote, and Gabriela Alcazar Posh, Alcázar Posh just entered the room with Gloria Caballero Roca
We have
for
to
the
have-
public.
We have to have them sign in. Right?
I think,
Did you sign in?
I will.
Oh,
okay, thank you. So I need a motion to approve with minor revision.
I make a motion to approve with minor revision the minutes from the Holyoke Historic Commission of May. I just lost the document. May 9th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
and we have to call
Aye.
roll. So Commissioner Gauthier,
Here.
Commissioner Salazar,
I approve the minutes.
Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes.
and the chair approves. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Minutes of June 13.
What about our minutes for the 25th,
Those were approved.
for May 25th,
Those,
when we wrote the letter? Does that have
yeah,
to be?
that was approved.
Okay, just want to
There
make
wa- Yeah,
sure.
no, thank you,
When I
thank
wasn't
you.
there, okay.
Yeah, no, there was and I had a moment of pause
Okay,
because for a second I thought that meeting happened in June, but no, it happened
Okay.
at the end of
all
May.
right, so we're good. with
And
that.
I believe, let me check, I believe it's already on the website.
Yes, it's in the minutes for what we're about to get to.
Oh, okay, very good.
Number 2 says review of minutes, May 9th and May 25th.
Okay, very good.
Except it
Where?
says that we moved to not approve them.
Where are you looking, Alana?
I'm looking at the minutes for June 13th, which we're about to get to.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So number 2, so do we need to take up a motion to do that, or that's still part of the number 1?
yeah, I think, yeah, it might be just, hold on, let me just double check because I remember us approving them.
Mhm.
So, but let me see if they are on the website. May 25th, they're already on the website and
Okay, good,
approved. So it is a mistake in the, but that is a great catch. Thank you.
Sure.
So yeah, we'll need to correct that.
The only thing I found was a spelling error in section 4. Let me see how far down. There was just a misspelling. The word have, I think, is spelled hair. Oh, okay. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down towards the end of that sentence. So if you look down, see 6/22/22, where they will have their plan instead of hair.
Mhm.
But other than that, I didn't really find anything specific.
Just to make it clear that in the agenda says June 13, 2020.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, no.
22.
And mine says.
Yeah,
2020.
yeah, 22.
Oh.
Does it really
You
say
didn't mean on
2020?
Monday, June
I got a
13th,
really bad
2020?
flashback about it.
Weird.
On the agenda.
On the agenda. Oh, wow. Okay.
Whoops.
That probably was my fault and nobody caught it. Thank you.
I do have a question. 6C. I tried to listen to the recording, but a few times, I think like if you pause it, sometimes I couldn't get it back. And there's nothing there.
wait, what point?
6C.
Yeah, okay. Comments about the preservation ordinance from the property preservation bill. Mary Young upload the preservation ordinance to the drive PGG. Once, yeah, that is good.
No,
No,
there's
C.
nothing there. C, item C in 6.
In 6,
Report by the chair on the ordinance committee meeting on May 24th.
oh, I read E. Okay, see it. Report by the chair on the ordinance committee meeting on May
So
20.
that's the meeting that you and I went to the night before. No, it couldn't have been. the
Right.
night before.
And
Oh, right, it was the night before because that 25th meeting was a second meeting. Right.
yes, and the recording is not there.
No, it's like when I listen to it, it's almost like I have to listen to the whole thing. Every
Mhm.
time I pause it, it looked like I have to start over. And because of work, I didn't get a chance to go back and listen to it. So I just
Uh,
didn't know if you had a quick
Uh,
something.
Mate, I really can't on the
Right.
spot.
Okay,
I think this is okay.
it's okay. All right.
I think it's okay.
Okay.
But thank you, Chris. Anything else?
No,
Mm-mm. I make a motion to approve the minutes from June 13th, 2022.
I second that.
Uh, Commissioner Gauthier,
yes.
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Commissioner Audrey,
Aubrey, yes.
Aubrey, and the chair votes yes.
Okay. So I'm going to be unpopular and make a motion that the minutes that we table or I'm really I stink at this language, that we table the minutes for the July 11th meeting for revisions.
Okay.
So I haven't had a chance to.
Mm-hmm. Very well. Okay, anybody?
No, I made a motion, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I second that.
Yes, that's a second.
uh,
Was that you,
Commissioner-
Louise?
Yes.
so the motion is to table the minutes until next meeting?
For revision. If
For
that is the
revision.
appropriate language that we have used in the past.
Commissioner Gauthier,
Yes.
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Now, one thing that, now that our staff is helping with the minutes, but what I would like to do, I think the proper form
Mhm.
is after we approve them and make revision. What I would like to do is Chris does the final version
Okay,
and then send it over
send it.
to staff.
Okay, I don't
to
have
be
to go to
uploaded.
you. I can go right to
No.
Jennifer and just send it.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, okay.
and again, in terms of role,
Mm-hmm.
you are the
Secretary,
secretary,
okay.
so I think we all trust you.
Okay,
I make a motion that we take up number 3. But hold on, I wanted to. Okay, sorry. Let's motion to take up number 3, preservation of historic buildings ordinance update.
Second,
I think this is not a vote,
No.
so I think we can go all
Just
in
you.
favor.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
I,
so, as you know, the preservation of historic building came to a vote. And I mean, in a way, was very popular that we got 8 votes out of 12 councilors. But unfortunately, no, out to 11 councilors, sorry. I think 11 were present, yes. But unfortunately, in order for it to pass, needs a supermajority. So we need 9 votes. And I don't know if I can mention name, but at least 2 city councilors reached out to me very warmly. And what they said to me, it's been tabled, is not being completely axed. So we can still work at it, which would be great. And I'll ask more information about that. Now, how many of you watched the meeting? Okay, so I don't have to go over the objection. So I wrote a letter to be sent, and of course I had to get it ready for the package. Now, 2 days later, I think it might not be the best tactic, although there's some good points there. So I'm opening it to you on strategy of what should we do to bring this forth.
may we ask what's in the letter? That you are changing your mind or you
No,
just,
but I think as I read it, it feels, well, of course, I think we might agree that the gentleman that made this statement of opposition
Mhm.
was not a fortunate statement,
Okay,
but the way it's written, it makes him look particularly bad.
okay, okay.
I think it also potentially makes us look a little too sensitive, to be honest, but
Yes, but again, we want this thing to pass. And I think, so I think all those observations
Mhm.
maybe could be simply sent to the all city council saying, we would like to point out that this is what we do.
Mhm.
And we have no business in marketing building, making sure that they're okay
Plain
and
and simple.
plain and simple.
Mhm.
And also asking the president to point this out publicly feels a little punitive. So the president might get annoyed
Mhm.
because he's somebody who also voted against.
Mhm.
So maybe, again, a communication from the commission of what we do.
Mhm.
And then maybe a separate letter to McGivern only, so he can get it saying what we say here at some level. You know, why we would, you know, there is no pre-protocol or something.
so,
I
oh,
think
go ahead, Louise.
I think to the point of, I mean, the main point against the ordinance was that we are not good for business. And I think that's the general like narrative around what we, and I think that's a fallacy. If we go back on our own records, we're gonna see a lot of our past here in the report for local government. We have not in the last years, even other iterations of the same commission, there's no event that we blocked or prevented business to happen. It's not our job to make business to happen,
Mhm.
but I don't see in any case that we were an obstacle for that. That's the argument, that we are, that the demo day is designed to stop business in Holyoke. So that's the argument that it was in the opposition in that city council meeting. Where we can approach to them is just a quick recall of facts and why we are not anti-business, even though that's not our duty. And that's it. I mean, I feel like even I remember in the unfortunate meeting that we had last year around the all these properties around the hospital, like even there, we gave our best like will to be, you know, in attune with their needs and the needs of the city at the same time. We got better at that for sure, but at the same time, I feel like the logic should be more important than fallacies. Fallacies are basically false logical thinking, saying because this, then this, in this case doesn't do the math.
Yeah, I completely agree with Louise. And to be honest, using that Holyoke Medical Center, you know, we were sort of made to feel a certain way about the choices that we made on that. And ultimately, they didn't get the contract anyway, but that was had nothing to do with us. It had to do with much bigger forces than our little commission. But I do think Louise's point is well taken. And I think that between now and the next city council meeting, we can absolutely take the points that McGivern made. You know, we can touch on some of the other pieces. We can maybe bring in some of the feedback around the CPA. I don't know if we can do that. You know, that we had feedback from the Holyoke Taxpayers Association, you know, where we have pro-business people on board with the idea of preservation in the city. And I think we can just take it note for note on some of the comments that were made. And, you know, if it means specifically highlighting what McGivern said, it's only because he's the one who made the most comments against it. But I don't necessarily think singling him out. He seems fairly clear on where he stands. I think there may be some wiggle room with at least one of the other people who voted no. And then we can also hope that we have a full, I don't know what the likelihood is of having a full city council at the next meeting, but we only missed it by one vote, and it's possible that that one vote would have gone our way. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. I think the documents speak for themselves, but if we have a crystal clear sort of agenda, you know, to read or whatever, and there may be two of us at the meeting or two or three of us at the next meeting, I think we can make as strong a case as we can, because we can't change the ordinance at this point. It's too late to do anything around that. So
another thing is, I wonder, and just an idea, so two things. Should we send a list of successful businesses that are successful because of the building? And off the top of my head, you know, the Cubit, Gateway City Art.
What about the last Appleton, 195? I mean, make it plain and simple. Make it.
Actually,
you know,
that is very good, but and actually, I think that
we've let a business come in. We've helped them.
No, but I think, you know, Chris, that is a really good one because it crosses two things. And the first thing, which was the second thing I was going to say, which is really true, is that I think, and I've been going through a lot of minutes of past meeting, but from the letters, from the notice of determination of decision that the previous chair wrote, it was always either the building is historic or not historic. Looking back to notice of decision the previous chair wrote, that is not the point. The point is, of course, progress happens, city planning happens. When we write a notice of decision, it's about saying why we made a certain decision, which is not only based on how historic the building is based as in terms of a city that's growing, of things that are being repurposed for the best interest of the city, why we decided maybe to eliminate some building or to really keep some. So I think that is an example in two ways, that building was perfect for that business, that some of the demolition actually brought it back to a better state because a major mill will be
right.
And also the fact that, again, we enable demolition because our concern was keeping that area lively
Mhm,
with a look that brings us back to our historic
mhm.
mill history. No, that's very good. Excellent. So yeah, so
I don't know if I'm alone in this, but when it was mentioned, the building across the street,
across the street
did
from,
he say something about we let a building across the street from city?
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
well, the
oh,
same.
the bud.
The,
Right,
the,
but I mean,
easy.
it's like I would like to, I wish we could answer that, but that wasn't us. I mean, I think that's the one thing that's really kind of stuck with me with the
Sure.
words.
I think, Paula, I think that that's one of the points that we could certainly go back and address.
Yes,
when
and
we
just
talk to them, yeah.
just do a format that is not, I mean, I guess this will go into history as a therapy letter.
Well, it's one of those letters you write, and it's important that you write them, but it's not always necessary to actually send the letters. So yes, you're correct.
Excellent. So we'll rewrite different letter, and please, all of you, counselor that you have relationship with, it's okay to contact. It's okay to thank for their vote, and if they voted against, it's okay to. And we have at least 2 people on the commission in Ward 7.
Mhm.
So I think it would be good for you to contact your,
One is my neighbor, so I will reach out.
no, but also your ward
Lord,
counselor.
right, oh, they're
Yeah,
both.
president.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I think
President.
it's, I mean, Ward 7 is just as historic as Ward 1 and 2. So.
Okay.
Great. Anything else about this?
Think so, yeah.
No. Alana, anything?
Nope.
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 So. Motion to move 2.4.
I don't think we have to make a motion.
No,
We just
so
do it.
we're at
Or-
I
point,
think we only have to make a motion if we go out of order.
so as of number 4, as Chris and I have been working very hard. First, at the beginning of my tenure, to get all the meeting minutes back in place. In the past week, you know, I very strongly ask for all our record to be brought back to par.
Mhm.
And in the past 2-3 days, things have been starting to go
Populate.
up. I want you all to look, because my impression is that, so, oh, and I want to be accurate, so let me go to emails. Let's see. Okay. So what happened apparently when Dan Murphy left?
Mhm.
He only left on his drive 1 year of historical commission record.
Is,
But later there'll be, but it is the current staff understanding that all of the record, even from the past year, when it was staffed to us, are still on the city drive. What I have seen happening in the past 2-3 days
Mhm.
is all this stuff is being put up.
Yahoo, good, no,
Yeah.
good.
The only thing is it's hard to navigate. Because right now it looks like if just people are putting things up and up. So that is what's happening. And then I think we can move on and talk more in terms how to handle the local, the certified local government certified local government
Report.
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 So that is good, but I also would like to make sure that all of you go through and give me feedback.
Sounds good.
So,
But we'll be allowed to organize this
well,
at some point.
well,
We'll be able to,
very good point. So what is happening on August 12th? Chris and I, as representative of the Historical Commission, are gonna meet with the mayor and with representative of OPED. And basically, we will be able to once again express what we need from the staff. And again, Chris and I are both professionals. We have our jobs, and tell me if I'm correct, we both feel that we're being reduced doing the clerical work for the commission. And that is not how the city should use our volunteering. There's a lot more that we have to do. So we want to have a meeting and make sure that our clerical relation with whatever staff, the staff that we're assigned properly does the clerical work so that we can concentrate on the important duty of the commission.
Paula, excuse me, I wonder if this might be another opportunity to discuss having an intern, because this is archiving and that kind of thing. I'm sure that there is some student at UMass or one of the local schools who is interested in preservation, historic preservation, what have you, maybe going into architecture, what have you. And archiving is a really important component to that field. And I just wonder if we might look at or suggest to OPED the use of an intern for some of this.
Yeah, and that would be great. So two things. One thing that we have to do, and I think Chris and I will be forced to do, it's really explain the logic on how things should be archived, because it's clear on how they've been uploaded. It's people that are not super familiar with the material. I also just had dinner last week with some faculty from UMass Architecture School, and they told me that the people in the Master of Preservation right now that we can try, but they're really overworked. So I think that's a great idea. I hope we can find an intern, and the intern should be somebody, it would be great to have somebody with possibly going for a master in historical preservation, because then they know already how to archive things. They know about all the forms and all of that.
Okay.
So I think it's absolutely the great idea. Let's hope that you must come through. And we have had interns from them before and they were stellar. So let's hope that that can happen.
Okay.
But we should, and we as a commission should be choosing them and solicit them. Because it's my understanding that right now there's an intern that's helping with the uploading, but we don't know who it is or how it was chosen. Good. Before we go to the next point, did the public, I saw hands raising. Are there any comments?
So a question, I think, the documents from the drive, the storage drive that were uploaded for public now.
Well, no, no. What is happening is like what we're trying to upload is everything that is public record.
Yes.
Uploaded to.
And this is for us, commissioner. But because of course we cannot let, I believe, anybody on the drive, but the special interest, like the minutes, the agenda, they're all on the Holyoke website. But at the same time, everything that will be on our drive is public record. So if you were to ask me, say for a
A demo delay.
demo
from
delay
5 years ago.
5 years ago, we should be able to give it to a member of the public within a day.
Because documents in the assessment of.
It's every piece of paper we have either received or written, the letters issued, we need to have back in our possession.
So, and Commissioner, no, sometimes we get demolition delay packages that are this thick. Like, for Mater Dolorosa was a huge packet.
In archiving. Don't have a master's in architecture. I have a bachelor's in visual arts, but I'm interested in that, so.
And I don't know if you know, Gabriela, apply for one of
For
the
a position.
commissioner seats. So again, it's a mayor decision.
Yeah.
But thank you, and thank you for letting us know.
Well, we can bring that up Friday,
Yes,
okay?
very good. Okay, so we are,
Can I maybe just make one statement?
please,
I think we should really applaud Jennifer, though, for getting it.
getting to upload, yes, yes.
Thank you,
Did you hear
Jennifer.
us? Thank you, Jennifer. 'cause
Thank
I
you.
know this has not been an easy thing, and we really appreciate,
And,
very
and
much.
for hearing us,
right,
yeah,
thank you.
Also, if you go, I've had the chance to go over the past documents a little bit, just to
Mhm.
review, and like, there's really, it's a hard task to codify and bring this to something that
Mhm,
is
mhm.
meaningful to the archive. Like, there's a bunch of documents that have really random titles, and I think the job is to you go in depth inside the document, kind of figure out a way to bring it back. It's not an easy.
And I think Marie has also
Yeah.
been doing that as well. Some of the documentation is not labeled correctly, so it's not
Yeah.
just,
yeah.
you know,
It's just like a Word document without formatting.
Right,
like,
right,
Mhm.
right.
It's really,
And and ultimately, well, there's things, and I've seen things that are not necessary. They're probably sheets of paper that were there and they got scanned.
mhm,
And that's,
right.
and we have to be able to eliminate.
okay.
Okay, so now we're actually gonna have fun for 15 minutes. So let me share screen. Very good. So now,
are we moving to 0.5?
yes,
Mhm.
moving to 0.5. And so I had written to Alisa Agustin, who is a senior architectural historian for Fortipal, who is the organization who helps with the alpaca mill for alpaca to make sure that the design and everything is done according to the standard of the Massachusetts, and that they can get historic tax credit
Credits.
and all of that. So I had contacted her early in July to make sure of what she wanted for the letter of application, and I think she was on vacation. So she responded to me after the meeting that we had in July when we approved the letter. She was very nice. She said, "I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you, but we have an addendum to the project, and I was really hoping that the historical commission could add a few words about the addendum. And I want to show you what it is." So what they did, there is a concrete building of 5 access that they bought that lot. Here we go. And let me see if I can go full screen on this. I may not be able, but what they did is they bought this lot, and on that lot, they're gonna build a pretty much square building. Then is gonna be a common use facility so that the mill can have more apartments. It's very understated, you know, with brick finishing in the front. I don't think it's a real brick building, it's building modern. But what they're doing to connect it to the mill is create a catwalk that goes from the fourth floor of the building to the roof of this building. And below here are the railroad track. So they asked us to write a letter, and I know that Mass Historic is very fastidious about any new construction. So I don't know if you had a chance to read the letter I wrote. And I thought the best thing was to interpret this, not trying to reconstruct an historical original, but an interpretation of the historical landscape. And, you know, I very much, I love this and support it, but I wanted your opinion.
It's my understanding that that is happening because there's no access to that building from Appleton.
There's no
I
access?
mean, you have the
Oh, that's
canal.
right,
You
right,
have the canal, and you
right.
have like, just like this, like.
Right.
little Stretch, and I
Mhm.
think this is happening in order to access to the building from
Right.
that side of the mill. And
Yeah.
I think, just my first thought is just like how important is to have that in order to preserve the rest of the mill.
Mhm.
I think there's nothing again around for me than new construction. It's, you know, it's new construction. There's
Mhm.
nothing about historical about that, but I feel like it's making much easier and having given accessibility to people to get from Appleton to the
Mhm.
Mhm.
On the other
Farapata mill.
side,
Yeah.
okay.
I think it's a brilliant solution. Otherwise,
The other thing I wanted to show you is what is there now. They sent, this is what is there now.
Mm.
So again, not an historical original, but it will be better. At least I feel it would be better, but
It looks like
I
a trailer almost right now.
It does, doesn't it?
yeah, but I understand that there's a stretch here around connecting these to historical. I think it's just the access, what I see, that can preserve the building and give, you know, more value related to the alpaca mill. But I don't know, depending how we frame this, I feel like it's just new construction.
Mhm,
There's nothing historical about putting the building that mimics the other one.
mhm.
Um,
And that's why I didn't say about anything about being authentic. I said it's a poetic interpretation, and it's my taste. And so I need the commission to, whether you think that my word reflect what the commission say, or if, you know, again, if again, I can only reflect your voice. So I can certainly make changes to the letter if you want me to.
but what is expectation from their side?
Only tax credit to, I think they want to add this and still be eligible for historic tax credit.
With this addition as well, is this an additional tax credit or?
No, basically what it is, they want to make this change to the building, but continue to be eligible for historical tax credit.
I see, and now it makes sense.
And because basically this comes to an addendum to the project. And as you know, our library I have to go back. I think they lost the tax credit when they put the addition on.
The new addition?
Yeah.
Really?
And I think I have, yeah, and I also have to double check. I don't know. I have to see if they are or are not on the National Registry because of the addition. So that the second statement, I would have to check. But I remember we lost tax credit
Really?
and funding because it was no longer an historic project. Now, I think this is very different because again, the building is if you look, I went down to the site, I think you see it a little bit from the third picture, but all the building around the building that have 5 axes are basically square or semi-rectangular brick
Cinder block.
boxes.
Cinder block.
So it would, no, the other around it are brick.
No, but that. the
But that
building
one is cinder
cinder
block. So I think what they're building will,
Enhance the neighbor.
yeah. But yes, it is new construction.
Yeah, but regardless of how good or how
Right,
nice
right.
it is, they're trying to get that historical tax credit because of the break. And with this, I see it's a challenge. I don't think it's something that I think to your point about the letter, what are we saying is that this looks good for the historical context of the building,
Mhm.
but we're not actually giving them like the real reason why it's okay to keep considering the tax credit since they are not changing the mill.
Yeah, and again, this is when I feel lucky because I'm not on Mass Historic. I'm on the Holyoke Historical Commission, and I'm not, I always said I'm not a very strict preservationist. So I get excited about people taking liberty, and my statement reflects
Yeah, yeah.
that. So,
I mean, I personally share your sentiment about this.
oh,
I'm just
okay.
trying to think about like, A, if it's gonna work, and B, like how, if it's our duty to tell this to the support letter,
Oh, no, but basically everything that I'm showing you here, the project and the document, this is all part of the addendum that will go to Mass Historic. So all the detail construction part and what's happening, Mass Historic will have. And then they will probably ask back, can you tell us more about the material and
Right.
all of that? And it's their decision.
Now, just to reiterate, the woman that you're in correspondence
Mhm.
with, she's not with Mass Historic, I
No.
heard you said, but
So
she
her-
follows the,
So basically,
So-
her title, what she is a senior architectural historian for a company called 40 Pal. So people, when they do, developer, when they do this big restoration project, and they want to get tax credit, historical tax credit, and they want to do somewhat of a historical restoration, they hire company like that.
her, okay,
Like, for instance, the Essex district, the firm that was hired by Wayfinder
mhm,
to make Essex district, it was Wayfinder that hired them. And they are doing that for them. And I think they're helping with some of the tax credit.
so she knows almost in essence that this is acceptable, I mean.
No,
No.
No, I mean, basically, we don't know how,
Okay,
again, we don't know how Mass Historic is gonna rule.
mhm,
We don't know if they're gonna think that putting this catwalk and this new building
mhm,
is gonna completely ruin an historical building.
okay,
We don't know how they're gonna rule. Again, in my conscience for what I do in this city, and how I understand historical preservation, what I wrote is sincere to me.
Mhm.
And, and I don't feel that, and, Mass Historic might say, oh, no, this is just way too far out. And again, ultimately, we always bow to their decision. But this is not like, for instance, funding for CPA.
Right.
For
Right.
instance, and a very good example is the building, oh, I'm spacing the name, that the Lusubiaga brother owned, the Armory building.
Okay.
For that building, our job was to enforce a preservation restriction that might have gone in place that kept the building as it was. So that was our job. And again, there we were the vector of Mass Historic. Here we're asked to write a letter of support and for this building and what we think about it. So again, credit is due. I wrote my historic assistant, Bob Como,
Mhm.
and said catwalk history. So I did the research. And I think that is valuable, that there is a catwalk
Yeah,
history.
Right.
It's very, like, let it clear around that, how that is part of the heritage, of the construction in town. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
in my opinion, I feel like if this is not gonna hurt and potentially gonna inform, it's great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, and I'm glad, Luis, that you also, bottom line, I like this project. I really like, and I hope the sentiment is
Mhm.
captured for everybody.
Mhm.
All right.
Can I just make one final comment on the letter, Paula? The first full paragraph, far is misspelled twice.
Oh, no, thank you, Elana.
Yeah. So
And-
both the second sentence and a few sentences before the last, the sentence where it says Heritage Park,
Okay,
that's
so
also misspelled.
what did I do? Let me see.
It's just the second paragraph of the letter.
And what did I do? How is it
So
spelled?
the second sentence, far is spelled wrong. You need
Oh,
two
one
R's.
there, just 1 hour. Okay, yeah. I'll
Yeah,
put
and
the-
then again, the last sentence, within
I
few
see.
yards of the far alpaca in the same paragraph.
I see. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So,
Speaking of secretarial. Is this something you want me to fix in the letters or?
no,
because you
I'll
wrote
fix
it,
the letter.
You'll take care of
And when it's 2 hours, I can manage.
It's too far.
it.
Very good. Motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the letter of support for mass historic rehabilitation tax credits for Far Alpaca Mill.
I second.
Okay, the motion is to approve the letter of support for tax historic credit for the Far Alpaca Mill. Commissioner Gauthier,
Yes.
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes, and it passes unanimously. Now, second, exciting, fun thing. Okay. Let me share screen. So Alisa Augustine also has another client Their name is Chi Universe. What they're doing, they wanna buy 302 High Street. They also wanna buy several other buildings on High Street and extend yet another historic district. There was a North High Street Historic District that went from Lehman on High from Lehman to Dwight. And they want to extend it a few blocks so that the building that this person wants to buy for his wellness center will be part of this district, and it wants to redevelop them and get against tax historic credit. So the building that they want to include in the district that was not included in the district was the People Saving Bank. So the building that you see right there, which is pretty much textbook brutalist building.
Built when?
1970. Actually,
Okay.
it was, what was there was demolished 69 to 72. And the building was put in. Let me scroll down to, I hope I'm not making everybody nauseous here with this. So one of the things that it's great about this investor, these people coming in, come on, is that actually they do the cards, the evaluation cards for these buildings, like we paid somebody to do the evaluation card for the Main Street corridor.
Okay.
Exactly. And I'm gonna go down to, so this is all to extend, this is the work to extend the North I Street district. But as I go down, here we go, hold on. So there, if you go to the Master Historic site, I don't know if I send you a link, but their form that you can fill out to make a case for a building to go on the National Registry in it for a district or and state registries. And they did a really good job on this building. I read through, and it's interesting because the moment this building was built was at the time where they were talking about, you know, they had just started the construction of I-91. And you were seeing the people trying to figure out how to keep Holyoke a manufacturer building city, trying to bring these things in. So, you know, basically there's a history of this building along with the history of the city. The firm that built the building was a firm out of Agawam, who did, you know, addition to the library in Springfield. It's a very solid local firm. Now, in order for them, and this is the research that I'm doing, in order for them to have the building go into the district and to have the building validated, they need a certified local government opinion card, which is, I send you an example. And again, that's one of the things that we want to look in our record is the local historic government opinion cards, which, by the way, they always have to be approved by the historical commission.
Have they ever?
No, that's, I mean, I have to go through records,
Mhm.
but I don't remember us approving them. And I've been in contact with, hold on. All right, so Ben Haley, who is the National Registry Director, because I said, we have to do this card. We have to approve it because, and you know, okay, it's for the commission, but of course, and especially after the comments of city council saying the 60s, the 70s are not worth anything, finding people to find value in this Brutalist building, it's great. But so I had asked him, you know, basically my question was, if what was the process, you know, about getting a CLG opinion card done, and now it should be submitted. And he wrote, "Hi Paula, in the case of the CLG evaluation for potential tax credit project, sends the CLG opinion to the attention of the Elizabeth Sheva, Director or Architectural Review at the MHC, non-tax credit. CLG opinion should be sent to me." Should not be sent, no, should be sent to me. Sorry, the non-tax credit CLG opinion should be sent to me. There needs to be a CLG coordinator for every CLG, but the historical commission would be involved and would need to approve the eligibility opinion. A letter of support is needed for the historical tax credit. So again, that eligibility opinion and the CLG opinion states where, and then he sent me the, so I think basically the card is to be made and we have to approve it. I've been having a lot, I read the inventory. I've been doing a lot of research on Brutalist architecture in general, just because I like it. And I have friends that are architects.
I'm embarrassed. I've never heard of Brutalist.
So it was a
No,
term.
if you go to Pulaski Park, the apartment building right there, that
Yeah.
horrible structure that looks like it belongs in East Germany or something.
Okay.
Well, and,
That's that.
well, the thing is that there's only two Brutalist building in Holyoke, and one is the one that Elana
Really?
mentioned, but this is the only one on High Street.
Really?
And, you know, I've been thinking about this car. So the term Brutalist was coined by a Swedish architect looking at La Maison Bras, which is, I'll send a little history, but it's an architecture that it's a spin of modernism, but it takes place after World War II because things had to be built quickly.
Quickly.
And what this building in Holyoke has, all the windows are precasting concrete, and it's concrete and pebble. But then there is the brick. So it's clearly a Brutalist modernist building, but the combination of brick and concrete goes back to Le Corbusier. And also I feel there was an attempt to some extent to make it fit in an 18th century downtown. Maybe.
Big stretch.
Big stretch. Okay. But I figure, you know, because right now we don't have a consultant or a budget to write this card. They need it. I think I'm gonna ask a couple of architect friends a couple of favor. I'm gonna try to write it with them to the best of my ability, and then I'll bring it forth for approval.
So
I think. Go ahead.
So There's a couple of things that are coming up for me. First of all, I just want to apologize. I briefly just got kicked off because my internet said it was unstable, but I'm back on, obviously. The issue of there are two different issues. One is, I can appreciate the conversations you're having with Mass Historic about the Far Alpaca. I'm not sure I hear anything sort of concrete that the CLG card is already in existence and already being used, that we have some model of what we're actually doing by providing this. So that's one issue. Secondly, I guess I kind of know the answer to this question. If these folks weren't interested in naming this a district, a historic district, would we even be involved? Because that building is not old enough for us to even review at this point. So there's two different, if that building was built in 1972, it wouldn't really fall under our purview from the Historic Commission and what our role is, correct?
No, you're confusing the parameter for demolition delay.
No, I know. I'm just sort of acknowledging that, if the buyers of this building weren't pursuing this historic district, we wouldn't have anything to say or do about it at all, because it'd just be
No.
another buyer buying a building in Holyoke, right?
Yes, well,
Okay.
basically, but the great thing about and again, I have to double check everything carefully. The great thing about all of these historic districts being formed that are not local historic district, but they're national. I believe if we go to our demolition delay ordinance, if a building is part of an this national historic district, it has to come in front of us.
Even though there's no plan to demo it,
Even though
even though there doesn't appear to be a plan to demo the building.
demo of the building,
No plan.
There's no
to
plan.
demo.
They're buying this building. They have no intention of knocking it down to build something else.
I don't understand the question, Ilana. Try again.
Your explanation just now didn't really make any sense.
Okay,
because-
let me try
Sorry.
back. So basically, in our demolition delay, right, we consider automatically buildings that are 100 years old or older.
Right.
But also, as you look at the demolition delay, buildings that are on the National Registry.
Okay, so it's just, if they're on the National Registry, then they automatically triggers us. Okay.
Yes.
So that's
Now-
fine. So then this CLG card thing, I think maybe I'm just gonna speak, that we should probably take this up for, like, you've spent a lot of time reviewing this. It clearly looks like there's a lot of information to review on this, and none of us has had access to that. So I would just maybe make a motion that, I don't know how soon these folks need this or what have you, but I'm not really clear. Maybe we'll just keep talking about what the card actually is, so.
Yeah.
Could we maybe get Fairfield Avenue involved in this? Because there are architects within,
Well,
with that.
we could,
I mean,
yes, again, we could. We'll see if they would, absolutely.
But, sorry,
Go ahead.
but the CLG opinion card comes, that's in
From
our
us.
purview, or is in a local?
from us.
Well, see, what happened,
that-
no, well, the opinion card, and again, one of the things that I am trying to figure out, because the Essex district was formed, building were put on it, I'm assuming they would have needed I'm bad with abbreviation, certified local
Recommendation,
government
right.
opinion cards, but we haven't seen them. I'll see, we're gonna go as now that our things have been uploaded. There was one that we never approved, but I found one in the archive of things that have been uploaded for the Richardson train station. which is what I put in the package. So, and I think, as I think for a survey, you do the survey, you do those form A, B, C, D
Mhm.
for various building. But then when you want to make something into a district or bring certain building into the district or put them on the national registry, then you need that opinion card.
No matter what.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I'm thinking, I don't know when they started doing the excess district, but I would think that some opinion card would have been necessary, but I'm researching this.
I mean, this is like an detective work, just going back into what actually the workflow for this process was, so we can take over that.
Exactly. And that's why we need all our document up, but it's becoming clearer and clearer that, there were things that needed to be approved, so.
Yeah, I think,
But this is great because this is exciting. Because again, we are part of the process.
can we ask for guidance or in any of the, big wigs around this, on how this should happen with any historical commission, in terms of the.
Well, yeah, this basically Ben Haley that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Is giving me guidance, and I'll set up a phone call with everything that's been said.
Great.
The other thing I can ask him, how many certified local government cards do you have from Holyoke?
Yes, that's a great question.
The other thing is I did send you the list of classes
Mhm.
for certified
Mhm.
local government,
Mhm.
and we should all pick one and take it.
Mhm.
That's really
Each
important.
one of us should take
When,
that.
no,
It was one of my email.
yeah, but
It was the last email she sent.
the last
Was
one
it?
with the packet.
No, it was an email simply forwarded from Jennifer Dorothy with all the classes that will be offered.
Okay, so we're not gonna do anything with this tonight then.
No,
No,
but
because-
you gave, I thank you because you gave me
Okay.
things that I have to
Okay.
do.
Okay.
And and I'll ask, basically, I don't think we will be ready to approve the
Mhm.
certified local government report tonight.
Mhm.
Because there's work that needs to be
be
done. So we will have to have one short meeting in August for
Before-
approval before our next meeting. So,
So is it possible for you to share those materials, Paula, so that we can, I know there's a lot.
I did already.
Yes.
Oh, you did?
But I told you not to look too closely because
Okay.
it's a lot.
Okay,
They're linked in the packet.
Yeah, they're leaking the packet.
okay. So then can we move on to number 6? Or sorry, 7.
One question. As I review this, they have not bought the building yet, and they're trying to see if everybody in Holyoke is agreeable to the project. And one thing I want you to think about it, I want to write a letter to the director of OPED saying that this sounds like a really good project and that maybe we should support it. So look through the material for the extension of the corridor and for the potential of for building becoming wellness center and see how you feel about
I
it.
mean, this is a non-historical opinion. It's just, the project looks amazing.
They're probably what?
It looks amazing. I went through the whole thing. It's really well done, professionally executed. The documentation is so precise. Yes, I think, but I
So-
think, is that something in our purview? Or just
Yeah,
a
because
personal
of
opinion?
course, okay, so we are a regulatory board, but we advise the mayor.
Yes.
We advise the department, so since the department, the planning and development office, they will have to work with them. I think we want to write them that we really support it.
I think what's important is, highlighting what we're in support of. We're in support of the historic components of this proposal. I think it's a fine line, and maybe this is what Louise is acknowledging. Based on the feedback that we just got from the city council, we don't want to appear as though we have an opinion on what kind of businesses come into Holyoke.
Correct.
No,
So I think
but-
this highlighting the information or being in support of the information that's relevant only to the historic district or the national.
and something
register.
about appreciation of a brutalist building too.
Well, that's an opinion, isn't it? I'm not a fan, so.
Okay. I will write it as of a specific kind of architecture that you may like or not like, but it is a recognized genre and significant at a certain point in American history, maybe something like that. Excellent.
I mean, in the layer of history in town, this is one of the layers, and I think that's the part that we can just pinpoint. It's like
Acknowledge.
among
Mhm.
all the layers of history, this is represents some important,
Mhm.
91
Mhm.
construction.
Yeah.
A kind of like new building in town. It's kind of a next ray of history.
Yes. All right, very good.
Okay, so we ready to move on?
Next,
Number
Yes.
7. Is this sort of similar to the archives from number 4, or is this?
Hold on. I gotta have the agenda in front of me. Oh, the preservation, we're preservation restriction, right?
Yeah.
Yes, in the
Okay.
building department.
So I'll try to be as clear as possible. I started doing all this detective work because it didn't make sense to me. And let me open the document, okay? That I found. No. Mm, mm, mm.
I second that.
So this all started with the minutes, and I'm gonna share screen. Of January 13, 2020. And in them, it said the preservation restriction policy. And it said Bear Monthly reviewed the document with the commission and explained that the language was taken from the preservation restriction agreement and rework for the policy. Preservation restriction would be held by this HHC, and best practice would be properties with a restriction inspected on an annual basis to make sure that the restriction is being followed by the ACC, with all preservation restriction for non-city owned property, because the commission has expertise on historic preservation and the CPC does not. Okay. Then he said the commission generally has had concern about the HCC, and I don't know which, I guess it's the CPC commission, ability to monitor preservation restriction.
That was us. That was.
Yeah,
us
but
getting-
when you say the commission generally has concern
We did.
about the ACC,
we
no,
did.
did we?
Yes,
Okay.
we did. Yeah.
So, okay, the language makes you believe it might be the CPC commission
No.
Okay,
it was
us,
yeah,
okay.
I remember.
to monitor preservation restriction. There was discussion on how to make sure property owners get approval for the ACC before changes are made, and now it could be done through the building department database to flag those property when permits are pulled. Mr. Murphy will work with the building department to make sure that these properties are flagged through the system. And so Francis Willen made a motion and Christopher Gauthier seconded the motion to accept the preservation restriction policy as presented. So, this was very confusing to me because I thought, so what does it mean that we're asking the building department to monitor this preservation, this restriction and signal them to us? And what did Ben do with the building department? So my first email to Mr. Okay, so we're good. Stop sharing screen. So my first email to Mr. Cody was did you get all this documentation, properties with preservation restriction or their deed, properties on the National Register of Historic Places, property in the current historic inventory of all property from specific decades or year. And basically what he wrote, he said, this information was provided to us in a paper binder from the Historical Commission. We have it here in the back room if you would like to see it. So I go to the back room and there's a bunch of paperwork regarding that, but not all. And kind of just the map of two historic districts, new district, Polanski Park and another one, and a lot of property, but all Excel. And these are also documents that are important, all the historic district preservation restriction that we need to find. So I go and look at the preservation restriction for CPC that the state of Massachusetts issued, and that is on our website. And I partially went and relooked it because Councilor Jordan brought it back in front of Ordinance when we were dealing with the Girls Inc. building, and we had to talk about it. And what the preservation restriction regulation state is, and go ahead and read it, is that actually we're required to check on preservation restriction once a year. Take pictures, write a report, make sure everything is okay. And this is for the Community Preservation Act. But I think, one of the things that we have to do, we definitely have to do it for Wisteria Hirsch. I mean, it's amazing how many projects fell through. But we certainly will have to do it for the Victory Theater. I don't know if we should do it for the carousel. But basically, it's never been done. So I wrote back to Mr. Coding and I said, I am writing to ask if in the past 2-3 years, your department has notified the Historical Commission in regard to any infraction to preservation restriction. I'm including in this email the minutes from January 13, 2020, in which item 5C state that the building department will give database and instruction to facilitate the work of the ACC for spotting infraction on preservation restriction and blah, blah, blah. And then I wrote, I was wondering if Mr. Murphy ever worked with you to bring this goal forth, and if you feel that now you are well equipped to do so. The commission will vote tonight on returning to best practice and therefore checking preservation restriction on CPA awarded buildings every year. thank you for your great collaboration and help in the past few months. And he wrote back, good afternoon. We have not taken on the work. We are also not equipped to do so. So partially, again, the preservation restriction was never changed. We have to do that. There was something that was written that I guess was confusing. But basically, we are 3 years behind.
When did we vote on that? What year was that again?
2020. January 2020.
Fran was.
It was just before I came on.
Right.
Yeah. And I wasn't there that day. So it was,
Was,
thank you for coming.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
When there was another discussion at some point about the burden of us taking
The
on
what?
that, the burden of us taking on this responsibility.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is we have no choice. This is what the state of Massachusetts asked us to do.
Can we look at, I'm gonna look at previous minutes with
Yes,
Richard. Because there
but
was
again,
something,
We cannot, and
so we
we,
can't vote on this. This is part
No.
of our,
and basically what I wanted to vote was in bringing back the restriction, but in fact, it's never been changed because when you look on the website,
it's still the same.
Yeah.
It's still, okay.
So I
But it's
wonder if we can maybe incorporate some of this into the last part of the meeting agenda, which is looking at people's sort of roles within the commission. Because I can just sort of feel, not my blood pressure necessarily, it's just the frustration that I feel like most of us have felt like we've kind of been navigating through all the BS over the last several months and feeling like we finally hit this sort of clearance. And even with the failure to pass the new preservation ordinance, moving forward, and now we're being what's the word? Tied down to 3 years of business that hasn't actually happened.
correct.
So
And-
I think in an effort to diminish the overwhelming sense of how much work that actually may involve, we should revisit what this actually looks like and its role within our purview, as well as specifically assigning, like I do think we do need to look at who does what on this commission and sharing the burden of the work so that not one person is feeling completely overwhelmed. But I have to say, I feel very overwhelmed with all this information. It feels like there's some serious delinquency that we just had no idea was going on again.
Correct.
Again.
And that is why the commission should be 9 people.
Yeah, that too.
Mhm.
But yes, I see. So basically that was my research and basically I had to go deep into it because what are our duty? That's what I was wondering.
And that makes sense, like, we are, the city is given money
Mhm.
from this tax for historical preservation, and then there's no accountability. Nobody's actually checking in what is happening with that. If that really, was.
We make the decision and it's done and it's put in the file and it's over.
And I think to some respect, like it's sending the message that, we're getting the money and then people are gonna forget about it. And I
Right.
think even though it's a lot of work to go back, I think it's just go over all the lists that correspond to the historical,
Mhm.
preservation that what was involved with CPA funding. It's just make the list and go and try to catch up in the next month.
Mhm.
But I think it's important. I think it's a lot of accountability that is missing in the process, and I think this is actually very important, in my opinion.
Yes, and the other thing is that I'm looking into buildings that are not part of CPA, but they have preservation restriction on them. And what I've learned by looking at preservation restrictions that are coming in is that it's always a historical commission that holds the preservation restriction. But we have to find the records for building in the city that have preservation restriction. And again, intern the record because it's all at the registry of deed, but we should have it in hand.
Yeah.
Very good. So yeah, we go to the certified local government annual report. So I've been working very hard to find all the information. And making sure that the information is correct. I'm gonna open the last version that Jennifer sent us and scroll through it. I mean, changes still, and again, it's too much stuff have to be made. But we're gonna go through quickly, and then we're gonna make sure that the documentation is there, and then finally can be done for approval. Let's see. Sure. So we have the list of Fairfield and Apple and the demolition delay, so that is good. So provide 3 sample of meeting minutes. And I'll take suggestion. Again, normally it's staff that put it together for us in the past, but I think it's good to be involved. So let's choose the greatest hits, choose the minutes that you like the best to attach the best represent our commission. And I would like to put the notice of decision from 195 Appleton, because I think we did a good job on that. Provide updated resume of commissioner. I just turn in my updated resume. Indicate total number of commission. So now 4 commissioner on the historical committee, that is accurate. Indicate number of commissioner are professionally professional in preservation related fields. So it should be 1 architect with historic preservation experience served on the historical commission until August 1st,
Past 30, yes,
2020, because
2022.
2022. So indicated the number and duration of commission vacancies and effort to fill them. Historical commission 5 vacancy. The mayor is in the process of appointing new commissioners. That is good. So I asked, this is not the per se a CLG class, but I asked to Jennifer Dorothy, and she said it's okay to put those classes on because there weren't CLG classes offered in the last year. So provide list of property by street address evaluated by CLG for listing on the National Registry. So I guess we evaluated the War Memorial. And again, I'll ask, there should have been a CLG opinion card, but I'll ask. Provide list of property, street address for which nomination for the national were prepared or submitted back to. So again, I just want to make sure for sure that there weren't any. And I want to make sure that did they mean prepare by us or prepare in general for the city? For each nomination prepared by the certified local government and review provide the date. So we did not, as a certified, we did not, as far as I know, but again, I want to check. Indicate how the commission obtained professional expertise. And for me, I'm comfortable putting it through activism for preservation in the city and through my documentary work on building, But if you want to add something to the last time we had a comment, the comment was always staff has preservation, professional preservation
Training.
ability. But I think, just in virtual what we do and we do, and Chris, you have served now also on the Preservation Trust for how long?
Holyoke Preservation Trust. 5-6 months.
So
Yeah.
partially
Yeah.
see if things that you did give you those skills
Okay,
too.
okay.
We have to add that. Indicate the number of survey form produced and updated by the certified local government commission. So the other strange thing, now they've been unloaded. I looked at the invoice for the main corridor. And the last invoice was for 2021 to finish the work. So partially we need to know how many of those cards were finished in 2021 past after, because again, from, if it was after July 2021, it's in this cycle. So we have to make sure.
I'm certain that we talk about this in the second semester of 2021.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
So those have to be fine, indicate specific, and I will contact him directly as soon as I get a contact. Indicate specific geographic area of the community, individual resources of SIM, which were target for the survey. And again, it's the main corridor and industrial, and that has to be added. Indicate if there has been any changes in the status of the inventory in terms of organization, storage, and accessibility. And again, Chris and I, all of us will review, but right now there's been huge changes. So things weren't there for us. Now they've been uploaded like crazy in the past 3 days. And I think the account should be, we have time to review, they're keeping uploading thing. And there's definitely changes. But I think we should report how this inventory have been uploaded. I have enough time to see if, again, there's thing missing or if everything that is needed and is public record is up. But I think it's definitely, we have to notice that there's been a re-uploading. And it's the first time actually that we have access. We never had access. I mean, we always had access through staff. And it's the first time that, oh no, this is the inventory. This is not the archive. So the inventory, again, we don't know for sure. I mean, we know that the Main Street survey, now it's on our website. I think this is one of this term. And that it's inventory. So that's one big change.
Yeah.
And for the rest, I don't think we know for sure. So we'll figure out how to answer. I just want to answer objectively and truthfully.
Vaguely,
What?
vague,
Vague?
vaguely, very vague.
Very vague, but no,
No.
not very vague, but provide open meeting law, okay. Indicate if there have been any change in the commission minutes. I think here we should write that chair and vice chair have restore minutes that had not been uploaded from to, and we have the correspondence. And because we can say now all our minutes
Mhm.
for these years have been
Mhm.
uploaded.
Mhm.
Because that's merit, and that was a huge job.
Mhm.
Provide any new rules produced and guideline adopted by the commission. And the important rules was that now in collaboration with CPC, the chair of the Historical Commission and the chair of Community Preservation Commission will review preservation restriction with applicants
Mhm.
before the application goes through. That's a very important piece of change. Indicate if the certified local government commission receive a budget appropriation from local fund. We don't know, but we have always been told we have no money. But I think that's something that we can bring up. We should have like in 2000, I looked at the archive from 2019. And we had $250. We should have at
We had at
least
some point, there was a,
500. That's what I remember.
500. We should have some money,
yeah,
know?
there, right? It
That
was,
that
yeah.
my recollection of what.
Yeah.
Where did that go?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You went to conferences, I
Right,
think,
right.
stuff like that. Indicate whether or not the certified local government apply for receive funding. I don't think so, no. Indicate whether or not the certified local government apply for receipt of funding from other public or private program. No. So, good. So basically we'll review that and okay, it'll be Chris and I's job to really go through the things that have been uploaded and see what we have and get everything ready.
When is the deadline?
End of August.
Oh, it is the end of August?
Yeah,
Okay,
it might be the end of September even. You
Okay.
can ask an extension,
okay,
but we gotta get this done.
okay. Yeah.
So.
So I see on the agenda, this says revisions and then says approval.
Yeah, well, we're not coming to approval tonight.
Okay.
Do we have a previous year's copy?
Oh, yeah, it's out, it's been up. It takes a long time to find, but we have previous year. I found 19 to 20, 20 to 21.
Okay,
So, yeah,
okay,
and again, I want feedback. See how hard it is for you to
to
find.
find it, okay. Okay,
So CPA report, congratulations are in order. Elana, Commissioner Aubrey will be our next representative for CPC. Thank you so much. We can thank you enough.
Yeah, apparently they thought we just chose to have a meeting tonight because they were planning to meet to watch a video that Louise made about the CPA. And I was like, well, I can't come because I have a historic commission meeting. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just
That was
reschedule.
tonight?
And I was like, I'm still trying to figure out when they're actually meeting because starting in September,
the heat.
they're
Was it the
changing
heat?
No,
to the
that's-
third Monday of
Yeah.
the month, but I still don't know
Because
when
it-
they meet.
oh, okay.
So anyway, I still haven't been to my first meeting, but I have been in touch with both Meg and Amy on the CPA. So just FYI, this is good through April because April is the end of my first term and it's yet to be determined what will happen next.
But it'll be,
Congratulations.
yes,
Well, thank you
congratulations.
very much. Thank you.
And hopefully we'll let the mayor know that people tend to serve on CPC for at least 3 years. And it would be great if they renew you, if you want to be renewed.
Right. It's still so far away from now. I can't really plan that far in advance. So.
And the preservation restriction for 348 Chestnut, 48 and 52 Franklin is coming up. Is a mass historic, but it should be coming up for review soon. Is almost done. And this is the building that we've been writing letter for historic tax credit. Yes,
Did we skip 9?
No, let's go to 9.
the one?
We skipped
Let's
9.
skip 9.
What is 9?
discussion and for commissioners roles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, oh my God, that's important, yes. So, and this is from Commissioner Aubrey suggestion
Mhm.
that we talk about what we do.
Do we have to make a motion or anything to go out of order again, or?
No, we're not doing out of order. I
Okay,
didn't even say
Okay,
anything
all
about the
right,
other.
okay.
Oh,
just-
hold on. Did I skip it altogether?
No, you're good.
Oh, I did skip it. So yeah, motion to go back, motion to go out of order.
We skip- Sorry, we skipped.
Yes.
And it went so well so far. All right,
I make a motion to go back to point 9 in the agenda.
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Gauthier,
Yes,
Commissioner Salazar,
See,
Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes.
and chair votes yes. So under the suggestion of, wait, are we still recording? What was that noise? Dee-ba-dee-ba-dee.
I don't see anything that's.
Okay, good.
didn't
yeah,
say,
all the little
No,
stuff
on my
is
thing, it
recorded.
says
Oh,
recording.
perfect,
Yes.
perfect. So,
So is it okay if I just kind of,
yep,
okay, so, I think it's kind of become somewhat clear that, whether or not we like it or not, there is quite a bit of work involved in our commitment to being on this historic commission. And, I want to just ensure that while we're still waiting for new commissioners to join us, which will obviously lessen the burden of the work, that we not only sort of figure out who's doing what, but that we also give time to a conversation about what it is that we want to be doing as part of the commission when it comes to the out of meeting work that we need to do. It shouldn't all fall on Paula, it shouldn't all fall on Chris. Chris is also the secretary for the time being, so he already has, another major responsibility. And I am trying to be helpful. I know Paula's used me as a sounding board. She's used me as a letter editor, and things like that. And I don't want to say used because that implies that it's a negative thing, but it's not. But I'd like to sort of know that when we are dealing with the public in a meeting, or we have another group of buyers coming to us and there is a demo delay ordinance, or whatever coming in front of us, that we can just sort of give that to one person and say, oh, this is your wheelhouse, you're the one who's spent the most time on the ordinance piece, so we know that we can rely more heavily on you to share the specifics about that we're not scrambling, or we're not contradicting each other within meetings. So just sort of figuring out how we can bring our own strengths and interests into the work that we're required to do. That's basically what I'm trying to get at.
I mean,
So-
I think that in my case, I'm a little conflicted in these months because I'm booked until April of next year.
Oh my goodness.
So, which is good for me, but also really not good for like my time available
No.
for other things. So far I am committing just to mostly to come to these meetings. That's not my preference for sure. I think my preference was always being around communication, information, share, kind of add into like the component of the commission that was divulging things out to the community. That was since the beginning, that was my main
Mhm.
intention. I think that I can probably take over, like if we can, so that being said, we're still doing a lot of housekeeping here. And that's gonna take a while. It's
Mhm.
not,
Mhm.
so going to the phase of going out is still not a priority, I think.
Mhm.
But I feel like, for example, in terms of like the preservation restriction and going checking stuff, I can use some time to go take pictures, do the job, and then report. And that's something that I can do
Odd times
at
when you're
times,
not,
yes.
right,
And
okay,
I can
right.
go over the list and,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
propose a calendar for that. But otherwise, I feel like I'll be in, the most important reason that I'm staying in the commission at the moment is because we are four. No, yes, we are four.
Mhm.
So, I'm trying my best to hold on that what I can. Yeah, that's kind of my reality. I'm hoping that throughout the next months I can carve more space, but I think the problem is that my job is not a 9 to 5 job. I get booked by chunks.
Right. And I'd just like to clarify, I'm not really like looking to point fingers, but I also want to just name that, if we start getting new commissioners, we all know the learning curve is pretty big on this commission. And that I can speak for myself, and I know Louise, it has taken us quite a bit of time to feel like we're comfortable expressing, the CLG or the preservation demo, the ordinance language and all of that. So, incorporating new people into the commission is going to present its own challenges too. We can't just sort of say, okay, you're gonna handle this just because you're new on the commission.
And I'm thinking on top of that, I really appreciate that comment. I think the difference between you and I, when we got it, we got zero information. Zero.
Yeah.
There was we both had to figure it out on our own until Paula was the chair. And then when I say housekeeping, it's also like figuring out what is the range of our tasks. As every meeting we found that we are supposed to be doing something that we're not doing. And I think I think we are in a great timing for us to be four. Not because of we have a lot of time to do all the tasks, but we have the chance to figure it out what is the real map and the workflow in the
Very
commission.
true. Right.
So then when people got in, they just, I mean, I can put together a PowerPoint. This is what the ABC of you being a commissioner. And also for them to know what to expect when they volunteer for this job. It's not just getting anybody here. It's just getting
Exactly.
useful around certain tasks. And that's
And I think we're also just sort of every week, it feels like we're uncovering more and more of what the chair is responsible for. And having that, sort of list of responsibilities, I think is really important to anybody who's joining the commission, because you're right. That information was not made readily available when I first came on the commission.
And another way to say it is there was no mentoring for new commissioner.
Right.
And that's what we'll need to have in place. Like, you are here. And I think the great thing about the meeting, the way they're being run, is that it's so much about, this is where you find the information, this is what it is. Maybe something is not 100% clear, but we know where to go. And that is all very important. I was just reviewing the minutes of May 9. And in the minutes of May 9, I said that the mayor could merge the commission if they wanted. And now I know that they can't. But because Mayor Murphy had sent the order to charter, and because we had been told by several people that he could, I took it for granted. So now we're having more and more of the actual real information, but we're meant to make mistake, but we're going towards finding the exact information.
Alana, I think just because I've been a longtime member, I almost think the commission has always been that way. There's just been so many things that went on behind the scenes. And I know it was said with a few past commissioners, we're just here to say yes or no. And it was the once a month meeting where we voted on this, we didn't vote on this, but we had no knowledge. But I think now our core group, the four of us, all of these things are opening up, but I think we're handling it. I think we're one by one, we're dealing. I mean, I feel bad in a way for Paula. My job has consumed me at this moment. I wish I could devote more time to my position here. And I do feel a lot of the burden is all you.
Well,
But I think that
I think we're
also-
all working very
Right,
hard.
right.
No,
right.
I think we're all doing our
Yes,
job.
yes. But I think if we have, once we get past this point in our staff, I think we'll all have, I don't know, a different,
office.
right?
Office.
Well, I think one of the ways that sometimes we can feel like we don't know what's going on is based in part by the fact that we don't get the agenda until the week before. And I know that that's just the way it is. But for instance, the CLG stuff or the card or this, this historic district, I mean, I would have loved to, so instead of us having to table it for another meeting, if we have access to, oh, this is coming around for the next meeting, then we have the opportunity to read up a little bit more in advance. Getting it 2 days before
Yes.
or even the night before, I don't have time on a Sunday night and Monday is just too busy. I don't have time with work to come home for 5:30 meeting and have read all that stuff. So I think that that's another way we can just look and say, what is expertise? Expertise may just be, oh, I had a chance to review that. And because I can review things once, my brain takes things in, but like that kind of thing. So that's just a suggestion. It's not necessarily, thinking that we all need to dive deeper into one area or another of the work that we do.
And Elana, actually, it was my pledge that we would get the agenda at least 10 days before. And I haven't been able to make it happen.
No, because you're very,
No,
very busy.
But
so
that's
I
a
get
goal.
it.
But that is a goal. But that is
Okay.
a goal. And and part of it, it's interesting because what I have noticed, it's at the end of a meeting, then I almost don't want to think about it for a week.
Right.
And then
right.
then it's late. So, but I think the goal should be that we get the agenda 2 weeks before, with the possibility of things that arrive, like something arriving 48 hours before if it's an applicant or something like that. But I think that's a very good goal.
But I mean, is there something, a presence where we could say, if it's not an urgent matter, just say, for instance, I keep going back to Appleton, that we talk about it quickly, but as Alana said, then for our next meeting, we will have our research. We'll be
Yes.
able to look at the files and just be very quick about it, the initial meeting.
Yeah.
The next meeting will be more prepared.
Exactly.
And I think,
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the less we pursue in one agenda,
mhm,
the more efficient we're gonna get. I think
Yes.
we can, as you said, we can mention the teaser for the next thing.
mhm,
But I feel like just like 3 points of this agenda are like crucial.
mhm,
The rest are just more like a process.
mhm,
And I think, I think that we can point also, like, for example, like in the link that you put on the building of People's Bank, that's a really important, like, that opens another like door for us.
Mhm.
But that's something that we just gonna be brief quickly and then move so we can have more time to
Yeah.
discuss. Just a suggestion in terms of, so we know that the agenda has 3 or 4 major points, and then we.
and not only you having to do all the research,
Mhm.
maybe
Yes.
we're all gonna find maybe something different to help the board.
No, that's very good. And I think, the key word is here, we have been dealing with housekeeping.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
but I think this is very helpful because now, even from next meeting, the goal is, can I put 4 items on the agenda? And it might be the next meeting. I think the September meeting, I have to see when the proposal are gonna start coming in for CPC.
Right.
And that meeting should be just that, possibly. Because we don't want to be at like city council, be up until 2 in the morning,
no,
It's,
no.
We're mostly using the best of our like resources,
Yeah.
Right.
okay, on that note,
I make a motion to move to point 10B.
No, 11.
11.
We did B. We did B.
We did B.
Yep.
I second.
Okay, motion is to go to point 11, Commissioner Gauthier.
I still have,
No, that's
Yeah.
okay.
it's still
No,
been,
no, we have to vote.
oh, yes.
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes,
Sorry.
Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes, yes.
and the chair votes yes. So actually, let me say, I am looking into checking the plaque program. Because I'm trying to figure out this, so I believe that buildings that are on the National Registry,
Mhm.
and if anybody wants to try to find it out, have to have a plaque.
Have, like a requirement?
Yeah, like the War Memorial
Mhm.
now should have a plaque. But this program for homeowners to have a plaque, I'm thinking I have to find out if it's something the Historical Commission do. And if we don't, I am gonna be talking to the Preservation Trust
Mhm.
and see if they wanna take it on.
They gave it back to us though.
Well, again, we are a regulatory board. If we don't have to do it, we're not gonna do it. Because, at least for now, because, I mean, it can be down to, yeah, give them 3 places where they can get a plaque. But again, goes back to inventory. It can be that if we have a COG card
Mhm.
opinion, then it's easy. Yeah, you can have a plaque and go order it. But I don't think we have time to do research on houses
Okay.
and what that is.
I mean-
So,
can we go to Macris and just give flags to anything that is there for us?
I think that's a good idea. Not everything is on Macris.
But
No.
what is,
Yeah.
what it is, just to start with.
Yeah, so again, if a homeowner asks us, can I have a plaque? And it's like, we can say, can you check if your house is on Matrix? What if it's not on Matrix?
We can say that we are only, in this phase, we're only giving plaques to people that are in Macris.
That are on Matrix or on the National Registry or on the, yeah, sounds
Just
great.
like, it's
But what are you saying though now? You're saying to check the list, but then you're saying give it to the Holyoke Preservation Trust?
Well, what I'm saying is that we do not have time to
Mhm.
do research on houses
Mhm.
right now to determine whether they can go on the historical registry.
Chris, can I just ask for clarification? Why did they pass that on to us?
I don't know.
Do you happen to, no, I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the
Yeah,
spot. I'm just trying to
because it-
figure out like.
Because
in
it
the
was always,
purview- In the purview, that really does seem to, I mean, again, this is like the aha moment 6 months too late, but you know, why isn't that sounds like something well within their, you know.
I believe because it was always with the Historical Commission. And I believe when Olivia left, she kind of had the files with her. And then knowing that I am on the Historical Commission, gave everything back to me.
Mhm.
And because again, we used to do the plaques.
And
Well, I
one,
think this could be a point to make when you meet with the mayor.
well, and the other thing is, you know, and Olivia had so much energy, but she did a lot of program with the Historical Commission
Mhm.
that were social.
Mhm.
And we are a regulatory board. So one thing that I want to find out is if this is really our realm.
It is in terms of like, the, basically sharing information, being accountable as a commission to share
Mhm.
information for the community. That's something that is in our,
Mhm.
bylaws, regardless of what people say that we should think about ordinance, we have bylaws in the,
Mhm.
and it's in, everything that is information is on that, is on the list. Of
Mhm.
course, it's not a priority right now because of what we are
Mhm.
experiencing. But I think we should, for example, I'm just thinking out loud, like, should we put out, you know, up and about, like a poll saying, do you have a house with a historical plaque? Take a picture, upload it here. Something that can be used, I think having some interaction with the community, even if it's just a picture of them,
Mhm.
who can put us back in terms of like we exist.
Mhm.
we don't have to do a campaign. We don't have to like run a whole content creation like series. It's just, and then that can trigger for us a good reason to ask for resources to make that happen.
Very true. Yes.
You know, like it's, if there's like, I don't know, 300, like, I don't know, 500 plaques around and people take their own pictures and we get them.
Right.
Then we have, okay, this actually can be exciting.
Right. I agree with that. Yes.
And,
But
you know, and it may be that what we do, we determine it, that, yeah, you should absolutely have a plaque. And maybe the Preservation Trust could guide them to where to get.
But
the
I
plaque.
also agree, other communities, it's the historical commission that supplies the plaques.
All right. We'll
And
put
again,
it-
we
no,
can,
we'll
we
put it
can,
on the
on the
meeting.
next meeting. And-
Yeah.
We are not,
absolutely.
but I think it's important for me, I need to clarify this, we are not just a regulatory.
Right,
Yeah. It's
I mean,
true.
we have a different, I understand that we have another priority right now. And I'm not
Right.
that, but we're not just that.
Well, I think it's pretty easy to create some sort of checklist that if somebody does come to us with a request such as, I'd like a plaque, we have a checklist of what the criteria is, and then we point them in the direction of, you know, the company that you found, Chris, because it seems that all the efforts you've made to that end have led to this one maker in Rhode Island, correct?
right.
Very good. Very good. Okay, next meeting, we'll get it all done
Okay,
and we'll go through. We're at announcements, right?
yes,
Make sure that you take your conflict of interest law class.
Okay.
If you haven't, we need to make sure that it's renewed for everybody.
Is that that's a yearly thing?
I think so.
Because I know it's,
Years.
I think it's a yearly thing. Well, I'm a state employee, so I know I have to take it as a state employee, but.
Yeah.
Be helpful to know if we have to take that every year or not.
Yeah, and please pick a class from the certified local government and let me know which one you're taking.
because you want us all to take something different, right? You'd like us
I
to
mean,
take,
if you're really interested
Okay.
in something, please let me
Okay.
know. And but I'll make sure if everybody does not, if somebody just doesn't choose one of the classes, I will take it.
Okay.
All business. So I went back to
New business first.
Mhm.
really, is that on the agenda, new business?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So there'll be a meeting for, so the Aaron Vega and the mayor
Mhm.
have finally, I've been talking at the property preservation group to get realtors involved, real estate company. So they are trying to have a realtor roundtable. They send a group email to a lot of real estate firms.
Mhm.
My boss sent it to me, so I think I'll be the one going for the Murphy Realtor.
Mhm.
And I will, but it's exciting.
Mhm.
So we'll see what happened there.
I have a new announcement.
Yeah,
We are not, if people Google the Historical Commission of Holyoke, we are gone. We're not online. If you put in your, you can share, you can put Holyoke Historical Commission. And usually it will link you.
For where? For the Explore Holyoke webpage?
No, if you just Google Holyoke Historical Commission, in the past, you'll get into our website, in the city website. But now when you do that, you get redirected to what's the name for this? Landing page. When we are not, if you go in 1, 3, or 4 like instances, you go to boards and commissions, you click the Historical Commission and it goes back to the landing page.
no, it's been down, and sometimes it works and sometimes it's not, and I've
Well, I
been
just tried
waiting.
it. The first thing that comes up is the Historic Commission, and it just takes you to the homepage, the Welcome to Holyoke.
Yeah, but what you experience, I have experienced a lot last week. And I also kept trying to see if our meeting had been listed, and I couldn't get to the meeting. So, and staff have been telling me
It's-
that the website, the city website has been having glitches and been down a lot, but actually it was more related, the city website was working, but the historical commission was down. And so I experienced the same thing.
The only
So-
thing that came up, the third or fourth thing that came up is a page through the Commonwealth Historical Collaborative that lists
Oh.
the HHC from
Mhm.
2014 and has the members listed
Okay.
as
Olivia Vitek.
Joseph. Yeah,
Yeah, but I think it's important to have an awareness that this is not, this should not be happening. This is not this is like a glitch, but also it's a glitch that it's like, kind of
How long has this been happening?
a few days. And I think,
But
Yeah.
that's the
Oh,
wet,
yeah. I mean,
okay,
yeah.
okay. all right.
so we are gone. And that's not a light thing to say. I mean, people should have access to this. And we should be informed if there's a problem with the website.
Yeah.
Because this is how our work is there.
Because I was disclosed, Luis, to ask that they would put the agenda at City Hall. Because as I was checking there, it was more the time that it was down than up. Yeah.
I mean, it goes into like a landing page, as I said before.
Right, you're right.
And then when we go, this is unacceptable. You have to go to departments, boards and commissions, Holyoke Housing, sorry, no, everybody goes to the right link except us. We just go back into, and this is not rocket science. This
Yeah.
is just an URL that should be, put back together.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
And this is an open
Mhm.
announcement to the staff here.
Yeah.
Because this is unacceptable. We should
Yeah.
not have our website down by any means. And if that is the case, we should be informed.
And Luis, and I check periodically, but also if you check during the day and you see it down, shoot me a text so I can email right away.
Yeah, I think this is very important.
There's a picture of
Absolutely.
Alana.
That's the.
yeah, I saw that. That's not too creepy. Yeah. Then your face pops up soon after though, Chris.
Right, very good.
I'm
So-
turning into the blueberry girl from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. There's an awful lot of blue coming on me right now. So anyway,
Okay,
any
Okay.
other business announcements?
All business. So I went to see the house that was moved by One Holyoke. You asked me, that was moved by the senior center.
mhm,
Took some picture and asked. So basically on that house, all historic detail will be lost. So they made decision to side it completely. The chimney was lost when they moved it.
mhm.
The original porch has been completely removed. And so basically it will be a house.
Another.
Yeah.
house.
More interesting, I check on 1814 Northampton Street,
Mhm,
the house with the hospital.
mhm.
So let me go back to my email. So I went through the minutes. Let me find it. When did I send the email? So, I went and checked the minutes and what we had asked to do for that house. And I checked the records. And I found out that that house does not belong to Holyoke Medical Center. Yeah. So as of on the city GIS,
Mhm.
still results as belonging to West Services Incorporated. I tried to go to the Hampden County Registry of Deed because sometimes the city is
Mhm.
behind, but the Registry of Deed is down. So I wrote to the people from the hospital that were there at the public hearing to ask them if the property now belongs to Holyoke Medical Center, what the relationship is between West Services, Inc. and Holyoke Medical Center. And if anybody that was at the meeting was a member of West Services, Inc. So basically, that's the thing that we have to find out. I went by the property. It's boarded up. There's a little bit of chipping paint, but nothing that we can ask the inspector to do anything about. But basically, the first thing we have to find out is who owns it. And I think Carl Cameron was the person that talked the most about the property, and that Richard, asks them to keep it in order to preserve. But if Carl Cameron is not on the board or a member of West Services,
Could that just be a DBA name?
and
For the
what?
doing business as another identity at the hospital?
Well,
I
that's what
mean,
I'm asking.
Right, right.
But it's not the hospital. And so it's obviously it's crucial to know if anybody was there represents this entity. And I mean, partially that's why I checked the deed of property before they come from demolition delay,
Mhm.
because that would have been a case where we would have asked, who is this company? And if you're here as Holyoke Medical Center, then you cannot demolish this property. So also the other thing that I'm looking for is, I don't think I was looking through the minutes, but we did not vote on the property, or we, hold on, I have the minutes.
Follow, quick question related with the things that you said first. Did you went to the list of people that own the property? And who is the second to last? Who is before West?
I can't see that because of the registry of deed
What about
set
the
this down.
Geo?
Yeah, you only have the current owner. I can only see the current owner.
I remember that I checked on that when that meeting happened. I remember that it was, I could see the
Transactions.
transactions.
Uh-huh.
And I was just curious if that's gonna be helpful to,
I,
because I could see, I remember that I
Mhm.
could see who was before, and it was People's Bank. The owner of the building prior to.
Right, too.
well, there was another building too, though. People Bank was, okay, but let me see. Holyoke GPI. GIS. So 1840 Northampton. So Mass West Services, 575 Beach Street in Holyoke. But I cannot see the prior transaction.
Okay, so. it's more
Is
of
the question at hand, I'm sorry, the question at hand, Paula, is
Well,
whether we weighed in on the houses that were left behind with the demolition?
well, basically, if you look at the minutes and the minutes were for November and December 2020 and January 21. And basically, it was asked, so you read through it, Francis Wilson asked if 1840 Northampton Street will be renovated. Mr. Canner indicated that you will work with the architect to look to rehabilitating the building as part of the project, but there is no project anymore because the project never happened. It cannot say as it is now. Marco Crescentini asked if 184 on Northampton Street was going to be incorporated into the project. Again, the project doesn't exist anymore. So what, and you can go through those minutes, but what I was trying to see is as historical commission and in relation to what was said regarding to this building, do we have any weight on what will be done on this building? And I cannot see anything that where we could say as historical commission, you promise us to do that and that. And motion were made, not to impose demolition delay on 12 and 14 Corsair and on 605, 607 Beach Street. But there weren't any motion made or anything regarding Northampton Street. And basically, but it was brought up for demolition delay.
No, I remember because I.
No, but
I came up
wait,
with this, sorry.
but for the rule of demolition delay laws, basically what happened is it was brought up. We never deliberated on it. So technically they can demolish it whenever they want, if it belongs to them. Because what they say is that once something is brought up for demolition delay, then we have a certain amount of day to rule on it.
Yeah.
We never rule on it. So practically, and it was brought in front of us for demolition delay. So we have nothing. We have no way to appeal on this at all.
And this, it's coming up to me, the Mass West Services, they're focused on community health planning. It's a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And based in Holyoke. So they're probably connected with.
That's what, maybe that,
And connected is fine, but was there a representative for them
I
there?
think we at that time, we had no clue about this part of.
Exactly, and that's
Yeah,
why
no,
the
what?
chair,
Yeah, no clue.
and that's why it's so important
To
to
check-
check on these.
Yes.
But basically, the way it was done, we were, again, in a way, we were left believing that the building, there was some sort of agreement for the building to be safe. The reality is that we absolutely have nothing. And by not having a rule on it, they're free to demolish.
Not gonna happen again.
No, it was just incompetence, basically. Now, Mass dot project 609385, the one that I keep bringing up. I did some research on it, and on those projects that are brought up usually by contractual firm that do it, if we don't respond, it means that we agree with it. When we respond, we may say something. Those are the other thing that I'm looking for the drive. All the response that Richard signed and sent for this kind of projects. Because Chris and I, we were just driving around, we just saw some spectacular phone antenna on a smokestack, but we'll bring it for the other meeting. But this project, since I didn't hear from engineering, I look at it and it's basically just like pedestrian access on high traffic area where there aren't really, historical places. So I wrote a letter. If we don't respond, it's okay, but I wrote a letter that we find no issue for it. We'll approve it next time. So I'll have time to show it. But what the research show, every time we get those projects, whether it's a question for the historical commission, pretty much if we don't respond, what it means is that we're fine with it. I don't have anything anymore.
I make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
The motion is to adjourn. Commissioner Gauthier,
Yes.
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Commissioner Aubrey,
Yes,
and the chair say yes. Oh,
just before 8 o'clock. Yes.
we forgot to set up a new meeting for August. Motion can stay on the table for a second.
I make a motion that we suspend the rules and reschedule the second appointment for August, second meeting for August.
Motion to suspend the rule. Commissioner I need
No,
a second.
Second,
Okay, Commissioner Gauthier,
yes.
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Commissioner Aubrey.
Yes, yes.
And chair votes yes. Motion passes.
When this should happen? In the month of
It needs
August?
to happen before the next meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
sometime in August would be great.
I can only view it August 29th,
29th. Mhm.
which is a Monday.
okay. That works for
That
me.
works. And that will
And
give
it
us
should
enough
be
time.
on Zoom only,
Yes.
so we don't
So we don't have to
need
come
this
here?
room.
Okay,
Yeah. And 5:30?
yes.
Okay. perfect.
Okay. Sounds
And you
good.
know, and even if we don't have staff, they will set it up. We should be able to set it up for us.
Okay, and so.
I
and,
need a motion.
I make a motion to schedule the meeting for August 29th at 5:30
Yeah,
PM.
Second,
Commissioners Gauthier,
yes.
Commissioner Salazar,
Yes.
Commissioner Aubrey,
Yep,
and the chair votes yes. Also, the September meeting will stay the same,
Which day, did you remind me?
Monday, the
The
12th.
12th.
The motion to adjourn is on the table and we voted. So I think we can
Sayonara.
just adjourn.
sayonara.
Exactly at 8.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
stellar.
Paula, Louise, and Chris. See you later.
Have a great night.
Yes, bye.
Stop.